way back. Okay, Google, play Afrobeats.
Alright, check out this Afrobeats music station on YouTube Music.
Yes, boss. All right. I'm going to bring you back in and then everyone will join us. Yes, boss. Yes, boss. I am. Your story is already. Your story is already impacting even. You know. So all of this fine boy. You know. There's a lot behind the makeup. And all of that. So I guess people are still. Instagram is still notifying people. It
Yeah.
just came up now. So let's just carry on and then hopefully people will join us as we do that. Okay, yeah. So you were saying about when HITV got sold and between 2011 and 2013, the
Yeah.
CEO, the big CEO, ladies and gentlemen, who was doing deals in West London, suddenly you were jobless.
Yes. I
And so
and all of a sudden I was selling DVDs, trying to move from the boot of my, from the boot of my car. I mean, good
wow.
thing was not bootleg, but it was, it was basically trying to sell DVDs. Now the problem was that we also, again, the DVDs were encrypted because we paid money for the rights, right?
Hmm.
And so we didn't want it to be pirated. And so
Yeah.
they put technology on the DVD that meant that it wasn't, it wasn't going to be pirated. But the technology was ahead of its time again.
Hmm.
And so people were buying the DVDs, but when they take it home to play, it wasn't playing because their machines could not recognize
Ah,
the
okay.
content, and so they were returning it.
Wow.
And they were, so think about like the entire value chain. They were returning it back to the resellers who were calling us and complaining that people were returning, and then they were just sending back all the batches that were sent to them. And so, it was just a complete, it was a complete disaster.
Oh my God.
I'm sure they're somewhere in,
Stay in your loft. Yeah.
yeah, we had a container load of DVDs.
Wow.
Yeah.
And what's coming through from that is a concept could be a good one, but timing is of the essence.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Wow. Because
Absolutely.
a lot of us, once you grab an idea, you literally want to execute it like now. And
Yes.
then,
Yes.
it's great to hear from, people like you who have seen the highs.
Yes. My
Somebody
sister.
said, I remember.
Yeah,
Is that
that's
your
my sister.
sister? Oh.
That's my sister.
I'm sure. I'm sure the family had to come organize a family meeting. Like, we need to buy CDs, guys. But you see, again, I applaud the fact that between that gap for
Yes.
for some other people, they would literally have got lost in. I know you did what you needed to do to physically survive, but
Yeah.
they will not. Some people get beaten once and you never see them again.
Mm.
What was the coming back factor for you? In all of these things you kept on doing that were failing and still going to the next. What was the coming back factor for you?
Well, I wouldn't say there's a particular thing that was a factor. I think, besides the fact that was mainly was God. I think even till now, I've always felt every time there's a bit of a hiatus between in my career, I've always known that God is on the other side of it, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
And it was only a matter of time. So you think about like what I told you about the first 2 months after marriage. It was a bit confusing, but then it happened. I had that run for close to 5-6 years,
Yeah.
and then again, I lost my job, and then picked up again 2 years after. So I guess God is a major factor, but also I didn't give up.
Yeah.
I didn't give up. Maybe there's a seed that's planted in me that just doesn't give up. When things like that happen, I always find opportunities even within that trying period. So maybe that's the only answer I can think of.
No, it's very open, and you could cook up a very high sounding story, like I just never. But you've alluded to God and the fact, and I think that seed is just, you're a hustler, you're a true little boy. Let's face it.
Yeah, it'll make it happen somehow.
You make it happen. Surulere for me was the Hollywood of Lagos. Everything just happens there, actors, all of that. So now.
Yeah.
Now, I just wanted to also, just so we close this angle and then we'll go to what you're doing today, and then we'll wrap up. Dove TV, HITV, all of this were platforms on TV that were putting out different kind of content. And of course, haven't seen those channels, for everybody who had seen it at one point or the other, it was key that there was you were going for general entertainment, which was quite refreshing at the time, especially for Nigerians who were just coming in or who want a taste of Nigerian, kind of entertainment. Now, for some reasons, all of these companies have kind of gone off air now. We've got Nollywood who does, But what would you say? And I ask this question for somebody who might have this in mind as a gap, and for also people who never knew, the whys and the hows as to why these stations kind of went off here. In your experience, what would you say was the major reasons? If you can go into detail, that's fine. But if not, just from an overview point, why these stations don't get the stability on here?
Okay, so I was fortunate enough, or I'm fortunate enough to have worked in two markets, and that's Nigeria and the UK, or Africa and the UK. They are two distinct markets. They have their merits, right? In the UK, essentially, it's difficult for African channels to remain sustainable because of the, first of all, the buying power of the audience, right? It's not recognized. And so if you think about how they make money from advertising, right?
Yes.
You need people to advertise on your channel for each video to make money. There are not enough, African businesses to sustain the channel. So you need to cross to getting like the mainstream brands to advertise on your channel. I'm talking about the UK now, right?
Yes.
Now, to get the mainstream UK brands to advertise on your channel, you need to be BARB reported, right? It means that you need to get on a panel that they recognize as a currency for them to advertise on your channel. Now, that process is a very expensive process. Wow. And so it becomes very limiting for a small African channel who's trying to just, get things going. And that's why a lot of them eventually, tend to die out, except if they have an endless, a bottomless pot of money. But in Nigeria, it's slightly different. And I'm, I guess this kind of transitions also to what I'm doing today. So in 2013, I got a call from a friend who I think he joined earlier on and then left. I'm not sure if he's back. That they were trying to set up something similar in Nigeria. And so I went out. I was invited out, had met with the guys. I was given an offer to work with them, but somehow that didn't work out. So I came back. And then shortly after that, my former boss called me again and said there was an opportunity to work with the former CEO of Sky, who was trying to set up a news channel for Africa. Now I worked on that project for 2 years, about a year and a half, right? And then an opportunity came in Nigeria for the digital migration in Nigeria. Now, this only happens once in a lifetime in any country, right? It happened in 2006, 2007 in the UK, where you had to buy a decoder or get a digital television.
Yeah.
receive the free-to-air channels. So what had happened was they migrated TV channels from analog broadcast to digital. And so for the UK, there was a framework that was developed, which meant that they created, different. I'm trying to use very very layman terms without being too technical, right?
Yeah.
They created a framework that allowed different parties to come into that ecosystem. So you had the broadcasters, you had set-top box manufacturers, or OEMs as they call them. So people like
Okay. Yeah.
Samsung, like Sony, Panasonic, and the rest of them. And then you had signal operators, or say one signal operator. And then there was a middleware company as well. So we took that framework. So the product so that was happening in Nigeria as well. It's supposed to start in 2007, but
Yeah.
As with many things in Nigeria, it gets approved by government, but there's no there's no funding for it. So it never really kicked off. But then the new DG at the time thought, look, this project needs to happen, right? It would create a broader, a bigger industry, because bringing more people into the space creates a bigger revenue port for the industry. And so he needed to put, I guess, some of the biggest and brightest people on that project. And so I was fortunate enough to be invited to join the team. I was gonna put that together. And I think it was one of the most exciting things I've done in my life, because it was very high. It was high intensity. It was highly demanding. And you could see how do I put this? You could see the results, right? Or we're seeing things happen, unlike many things in Nigeria that sometimes can be very frustrating. This was, and we only had one shot. So it wasn't as if you failed, you try again, right? This was something that you only had one shot to do it. And so you had to get it right. And so what we did was brought in a lot of experts from outside as well to help. Now, going back to your question, so Nigerian media industry or broadcast industry as it were today also depends on advertising.
Yeah.
Right? Now, advertising is a function of macroeconomics.
Yeah.
Right? So if, for example, today now we have COVID-19, right?
Yeah.
The first thing that happens in a situation like this or a recession is that brands stop spending money.
Absolutely.
They stop advertising, right?
Yeah.
And so they cut their budgets. They, move monies from advertising to sales or promos and things like that, right? And so if you think about the chain effect of that, is that broadcasters who depend on those revenues or those advertising revenues are cut out. Now, so that's that on one side. And then you have the agencies in the middle, and I'm sure you know this, right? Because you also you have the agencies in the middle who also benefit from that, who are also part of that process of advertising. Now, because of the lack of of campaigns, right? They have to find a way to keep as much of that budget within their pots before they distribute it to the broadcasters. So, say for example, an agency buys does a campaign for a brand, and the brand has paid the agency. The longer the agency delays that money in their accounts, the better for that agency, because the money is a fixed deposit and blah, 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 right? And so the guy at the end of it, the broadcaster, still suffers for it, because it doesn't get paid on time.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's issue number 2. And then number 3 is you have the digital migration that's happening. Meaning, essentially what it is that as a broadcaster, you're the one doing everything on your own, right? So if you remember back in the day when we used to watch NTA Channel 7, Channel 10, Channel 5.
I'm not as old as you are, sir.
you had an antenna outside your house. Right? That antenna was facing one direction.
Yes.
And if that antenna shifts from that direction,
God help you.
You lose. Now the good thing is you might get another channel.
Yeah.
Maybe from Ogun State or from somewhere, right? But you lose the ones in Lagos. Now the reason is, first of all, they are broadcasting on analog spectrum.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Secondly, they are in different locations. All the channels are in. So, Channel 7 was in Tejo Show. Channel 10 was in Victoria Island. LTV is in Ikeja.
Yeah.
So they're all over the place.
So
right?
your antenna
So your
needs to
antenna
be
has to be
facing
fine.
Kenya.
Yeah, it has to be somewhere in the middle. Otherwise you miss out. You
Yeah,
miss
yeah.
And that wasn't an effective way of broadcasting, but that's what we had at the time. So what happens when you migrate them from that process to a digital process is that you put them on ones and zeros. Basically, you put them on the technology that's digital, and so you never have to worry about outdoor antenna. But then also means that the broadcasters lose all those equipments that they use to push out.
Yeah, all that mainframe.
Yeah, all of that just becomes obsolete, right? So from an accounting perspective, right?
You're not their friend.
If you look at the balance sheet of a broadcaster, not only are they losing what they consider to be assets, right? They also don't get paid on time.
True.
So I mean, we've seen a situation where a campaign was flighted and the invoice was raised 30 days after the end of the campaign, and the broadcaster didn't get paid until 285 days after.
Wow.
Yeah.
So again, coming from your, all of these things, you either must love this job so much or love the industry so much that, because I look at your resume and then again, and this is testament to one thing that is also coming through your stories is none of your relationship, and I think it's great for me to shout this out. Along your whole hustle journey and you're working with people, all of those relationships never got burnt, because I could hear that there's a recurring effect of somebody calling you and I'm sure these are coming from the other things you've done, and I think it's great we shout that out.
Absolutely.
Because being a hustler is not about because this didn't work, all of you can go to sleep and I'm working out and you burn that bridge, because the fact that it's not working today doesn't mean they might not be useful in your tomorrow. So testament to you. But back to your resume, it's all media from A to Z. You haven't been, is it that behind all of this the money is also that good, or what?
I'll be honest with you, right?
Yeah.
I think I found a passion in media.
I can see.
I mean, again, I'm grateful to God for the opportunities and the fact I'm where I am today. But it's not that lucrative, I have friends who work in finance. I have friends who work in IT and tech. People like you, who
I don't know what you're talking about.
I'd love to be, yeah, you know what I mean. You know now.
I don't know what you're saying.
But glory to God. I find that the industry itself is something I'm passionate about, right? And as a result of that, I've had my own challenges. I've had, law enforcement issues, all because I'm trying to make something. Me and the team are trying to make something good of this industry. And then on the back of that, right, I'm still working for the benefit of the industry. Even what I do today is for the benefit of the industry. I think it's just the fact that I mean the only way I can explain it, is that I'm passionate about this industry.
And again, even in your more calm nature, you're throwing nuggets that I will. It's my job as the hustle guy here to shout it out. And because again, our generation, maybe social media, the hustling spirit, because you just want to make it out. Obviously, people come from places or from backgrounds and stuff, and you're just determined to make it. And that has accumulated into what they now call the microwave generation of not, the process is not, I just want to
not
build.
fully done. Yeah.
For you, what's coming out of your story and out of your resumes, you found a sweet spot of that hits your passion.
Yes.
And you have stuck it over almost 18 years now. You stuck to media. Now, whilst, like you alluded to that, there are people around you that are doing other things that almost looks like less of the hurdle and then more gratification, which there's absolutely nothing wrong about that. And for you to hold on tight to that passion in the sight of the temptations, for a lot of people is a struggle. My question to you was, the glasses is back on now. Was
Sorry,
that
I was having the, yeah, sorry.
was that an easy decision? Because I know that would have been a continuous kind of in your face thing.
Oh no, it
Um,
wasn't. It wasn't easy at all. I mean, there were times when, don't forget that when I was coming to the UK, I'd done my Prince 2, right?
yes.
So I was planning to come, do IT. Um, so there were times when I thought, you know what, nah, it's not working. Let me go and brush up on my
Yeah.
project management. But I find that even when the times when I almost given up completely in the thought, this I'm not, but somehow opportunities come again. A phone call will come and say, oh, come do this, and I think some of the lowest moments in my career, my life, at the end of it is the huge mountains.
Hmm.
The
Hmm.
lower the depression, the higher the mountain. That's what I found.
Hmm.
It's been, I mean, again, I was just talking about the digital switchover project that I was working on. That is without sounding too too I don't know. It's literally is the biggest project in the industry in any country. It only happens once, and so you think
Yes.
about
Yes.
that from
Yeah.
that perspective. Because I was working with the regulators, I was working
Hmm.
with
Yeah. Yeah.
the entire industry bodies, right? And so I guess my Prince 2 came in as well because I literally was project managing the whole thing. It meant that I had to manage all the stakeholders. And these are
Yeah.
individuals who own their businesses,
Hmm.
who, have political influence, have this and that and the other, older, way, way older people, right? But you had to sort of massage their egos and ensure that you're all working towards the
Yeah.
same goal. There were times, even within that project, that I felt a few times I've told my wife, I can't do this anymore. I'm going to resign. Right? I went gray, literally, when all this gray beard and bald head you're seeing was because of that.
Wow.
But I'm also grateful for that opportunity because I built relationships in that process, and those relationships till today are very important and are close to me.
So, in a nutshell, because I know we're going to round this up, it's a beautiful story that we can sit and continue. But what's coming out to me as if we were to, if so, I'm going to ask you two questions, so you take it in one. If you were to be building a toolkit of a hustler toolkit,
Yes.
what three things would you say is important
Okay.
on your hustle journey to ensure that you hit your goals? Three
So
things.
the first thing is to be very prayerful,
Hmm.
and that's very loaded. And I don't want to sound too spiritual or
That's fine. It's fine.
but being in the place of prayer and just listening to God, there are mistakes that you wouldn't have to make because it
Yeah.
will just direct you, right?
Yeah.
And some mistakes can be very costly, and I know that. Two is that you need to keep your relationships. In any industry, in any field, in any business, anything, whatever you do, right?
Yeah.
It's people that you're dealing with, right? And
Yeah.
and people are relationships. Like I told you tonight, all the opportunities I've gotten is because somebody made a call or somebody
Yeah.
thought, oh, this person will fit this, right?
Yeah.
And I also work in a very small industry anyway, so we all know each other. Globally, I'm talking globally. We all know each other.
Yeah.
So relationships are absolutely key. And I think the last thing, there are many things, but I think the last tool in the box would be just grit, right? Just
Hmm.
don't give up.
Hmm.
You can't if you say. I mean, I know when you had this conversation with my missus, she said no, she's not a hustler, but whatever it is that you call it, right? You can't afford to give up.
Absolutely.
The moment you give up, that's it. It's done. That's the end of it.
Hmm.
It's final, right?
Hmm.
You'll be tempted because it'll be difficult. There are times when I thought, let me just go and be driving Uber now. Yeah, I just put my
Oh my God.
BMW and be
And
driving Uber.
and and that's really deep. And again, I can't let that slide because for whatever the situation and circumstance was, for that to cross your mind means kind of almost depicts how real the hustle was at the time. You know, where you begin to look around you and like, okay, what can I monetize around me? You know, and all of that. Wow. I think I can say that you're called to do media. That's all. That's all that just comes out. And my
See,
last
my
my last
sisters are here. My family, my wife, my sisters, they're all commenting. You can see them.
you know, I celebrate them. They are testament that you're not telling a lie. You know, so that's if you can convince family, then you've done a good job.
Yeah,
So
yes.
you've been called to hustle media,
Mm.
and you have not taken yourself out of that. So my final question is, it's amazing because anybody that hears your resume, you have a resume of a 80-year-old man who's done, and you're nowhere near.
It depends how it's written, though.
I know. Oh my God. Whatever way it's written, you're an old man in your CV,
Yeah.
you know, and you're such a breath of fresh air in terms of your mindset and how you operate. Because again, you could go for the dollar signs and no one will blame you. Because first of all, you have a family, you have to survive, you have this passion. But you know what? I can make money and come back to passion. But I think God and life and whatever cook themselves up push you into your passion real early, and you stick there. And I can shout that to the roofs and applaud that, because what you get from a lot of people, which is also okay, is that the resume is very divergent. They've done this in this industry, they've done that, and come back to this. What does your happily ever after? What does it look like?
Wow.
So that when we all
Wow.
see you in that picture, we'll be able to say that yes, okay, Tunji has done his part. What does that look like for you? And I'll give you a preset to why I asked this question, because a lot of us are caught up in the daily hustle, such that we don't even, when you stop to ask that, what's the destination, what you want, we struggle to answer that because, you know, we're just neck deep in what we can see right now. So for you, what does your happily ever after look like?
Okay, so I'll answer that question in two ways.
Yeah.
First of all, personally, on a personal level, my happily ever after is to live long enough, right? And I enjoy my life.
He's a good dancer, bro. He's a fire on the dance floor, man. Yeah.
Long enough to enjoy a good, happy life with my family, my wife and my kids. Absolutely no question about that. On an island somewhere. But then on a professional level, my happily ever after is to see the Nigerian media industry, Nigerian broadcast industry, thrive to its maximum potential. Today, it is nowhere near 10% of its potential because of I wouldn't say corrupt. It's not corruption. It's just inefficiencies, right? And once you take away those inefficiencies and and everyone sort of gets into everyone sees the picture, right? Everyone sees the picture where this can possibly go.
Yeah.
It has massive potential. I mean, you think about media. Media has a lot of influence, right? Young people, human beings, all our opinions are formed on the back of the information that we receive, right?
Yeah.
You think about the industry, the music industry, the movies industry, all the negative, image Nigerians have all over the world. It's because of media, right? If we tell our stories and we
absolutely,
we portray ourselves the way we want the story to control the narrative, it's completely endless possibilities. So for me, it's that the Nigerian media industry, Nigerian broadcast industry takes its place, in the Committee of Nations, and you just would, it would just go from there.
Okay. So do I see a minister of information somewhere in
Nah,
between all
nah.
of this?
Nah, nah, I don't do politics.
No,
Sorry.
well, because all through your story was I got a call, and you might just get a call like, come do something national. Because
Yeah.
I again, that's tongue in cheek, but seriously, I think people with, obviously you're young, and people with your sincere, passionate heart for media, as against going into media for the benefits it can get, is what the country needs to literally position it in that spot. And again, it all looks like everything you've done in London, all the lessons you've learned there are all have prepared you for this once in a lifetime opportunity with the DSO project you went on. So massive applaud to you. You're one relationship I will never disrespect because you're my ticket to the red carpet. You know, um, from where I come from, they say that the same respect you give a rich man is the same respect you give a rich man's dog. You according the same respect. So, um, and again, taking from your toolkit's advice, your relationship was the number two. You said God, you said relationships, and of course, great. But most importantly, relationship is regardless of what you do, that transfers through any kind of hustle.
Absolutely.
Whoever you meet, do your best and leave an impression that keeps them calling you and bringing you back.
Yeah.
There are a whole lot of media people I'm seeing that are joining right about now, but I know
Yes.
you have to go. I know you have to go. It's been an interesting, absolutely spot on, no noise, low key, but dropping fire all the way as you go. We
That's the name of
celebrate
my
you.
business, by the way.
All right, we celebrate you, Tunji, for what you've done. You are a guiding light and a shining example in your industry, and of course, as a gentleman to your family. We need to shout out. I need to shout out your wife and kids who suffer the brunt when you have to be way back in Nigeria doing all of this. So shout out to them. Because if they gave you trouble, your passion would be shaken. So, so shout out to your wife and your lovely kids who will continue to allow you pursue your passion. But over and above everything we've discussed today, you have confirmed to us that you are a true hustle hero. And from the hustle series, because your weight in gold, we cannot pay, but from us to you, the next time your name is mentioned, it must be with respect. And next time you're addressed, you must be addressed as Tunji Amure, CHH. That is your next. And CHH means you're a certified hustle hero. From the Hustle Republic to you, we recognize the work you're doing. We're absolutely passionate about telling work in progress stories. We don't want you to be all gray before you get a chance to tell, this experience. Your story has been relatable, practical, engaging, and of course motivating. And I can't ask for more. So, on behalf, you see, my very able personal assistant has written it there. So just that's Tunji Amure, CHH. From now on, you're a certified hustle hero. We celebrate you, bro, and thanks for taking the time out to hang out with us on the Hustle series.
Thank you.
I know that beyond this call, people will listen to this video, and then you will be inspiring a whole lot more people. So thank you, mad love, bro. As always, I respect you, and I need to tell you this before you go. When you were in HITV, I wrote a script. I was trying to sell a TV concept and was looking for Tunji Amure all over London, and here we are today. So. It's all good. So I will let you go, but from us, and as a Nigerian student that you are, we say hustle continua. Victoria Asata, we celebrate you, bro. And thanks for hanging on. I know you have to jump on another call now, so I'll let you go at this time. Regards to your family, and thank you so much for doing this. I will be in contact. All right, guys. See you later. Yeah.
Bye. Bye.
Bye. Bye. Wow, guys. What did you think of that? Please, before you run off, real quick, what did you think of that session, guys? Let me know in the comment box. It's good to get feedback from you guys, just so we can better this show and better this series as we go on. Please, if you forget everything, remember his toolkit suggestions. Prayerful, knowing God. Secondly, your relationships. And that's built about you just being the best version of yourself every single day. And the third is the grind, which is, your resilience, ability not to give up. It's always going to be very, very difficult sometimes. Some people make it, within 2 days. Some take 5 years. It just depends on the weight of the seed you're carrying. So as we go on through our hustle, it could get very silent. It could get very quiet. You might even think you're not good enough. But like the speaker just told us, he went into big time deals, not even understanding a bit of what he's saying. And that's the story for a lot of us that turn up at our work, not even knowing how to go through that next meeting. You're not alone. A whole lot of us are in that same valley with you. So if it's for anything, raise your head up and speak out. Say it from your chest. Whatever happens, at least you tried. So never give up. Keep going. Keep aspiring. If you never ask, as they always say, you never get. So thank you, blessed Mrs. That's the sister. Thank you for joining up. Don't give up. It's amazing, very relatable, very informative. Thanks for your time. All right, I would love a bit more. Okay, good. Yeah, I tried on your feedback, guys. I want to know that if there are other things we could do to make this a lot more a good spend of your time, I will be happy to do that. But thank you for the love you guys have shown up till now. We go again next week, Friday and Sunday. We will be having a special episode on Wednesday this week. Check out on my IG Instagram handle, Lord Bionic, and also The Hustle Republic. We've got a YouTube channel, guys, and all of the videos from season 1 up till this very last episode we're doing right now will be available on our YouTube channel. It's called The Hustle Republic. Get on it, subscribe. Let's keep this going. Let's keep sharing. You never know who might need this. Great show. Thanks, Balo, Spotton, Balale. Your session the other day was fire. Thank you for sharing. Thank you. And please share this through your network and let's keep this drive going. Remember, hustle continua. Victoria Sata. Have the best week ever as you go into Monday. And whatever happens, either good or bad, remember, we can never give up. Never stop fighting, because that's the only way to victory. Have a good evening. Have a great week. Mad love from the Hustle Republic. I'll see you on Wednesday, 8 p.m., Friday, 8 p.m., and Sunday, 8 p.m. Good night, guys. Have a good one.